All right.
Should get that buzz in a moment.
I told you to turn off your body cam. This is not the time or the place.
This isn't work.
You think of that as work?
I think he
Yes.
misunderstands his tasks at work.
I think I'm going to have to talk to you about your daily duties, and then we all laugh because I say duties.
Children, we are children. It's okay.
Accurate.
Good evening.
It's right. It's only us right now. Just us with our thoughts. The terrible, terrible thoughts.
Well,
maybe
we tried to get those out of the way before we went live, right? But
never fully works.
Maybe if I make more noise on the outside, there'll be less noise on the inside. Is that how that works?
For some people, but please no.
We were too deep. There was 5 of us watching there for a second, and now we're back to 3.
So,
Justin, thanks for joining us.
Indeed. What's up going on, Justin?
Oh.
Now there's just 2 of us. Justin left too.
Well, you know, he's like they called me by name. It's been Infinite Gunworks for months.
Has it? I don't think I've ever called him Infinite Gunworks.
It's been back and forth.
Early.
Yeah. All right. We got beer. I suppose we should get the show on the road.
Before the beer goes flat would be ideal.
You don't have to worry about that.
It's not a concern.
So it's either already flat or
Is it
Did
a porter?
You not watch me?
No,
it's not a fruity porter. No, it's just Stella.
Oh, okay. I was not watching at all.
It's the right thing. It's the right answer.
It's not
Thus the Stella glass. Wait for it. There it is. Yes.
It's a very golden beer.
It is. A crisp, clean ale. As I choke on it.
It's so clean.
Smooth.
All right.
Yeah.
What are we all carrying tonight here, guys?
I'm carrying my very lovely 707 that I dropped on its tip on some concrete outside. With surprisingly minimal damage to the tip. I am thoroughly impressed with the toughness of ZT's 20 CV.
It just popped into my head, but we recently fixed the tip of a knife from a specific maker, and it did not fare nearly as well as that ZT.
To be fair, there wasn't a ton of damage to begin with on this guy, so
that's what I'm saying. Like, that thing didn't take very much damage at all. It's a thin blade, and
it was 204p, so some slight variations, but
touche.
Anyway, I've been playing around all weekend, and so I was actually playing around in the yard with it, with my Puka. I've put a nice Scandi, got rid of that secondary bevel, because that was for suckers.
It's like a high Scandi now.
And geez, man, does it slice. It's been good. Good. So.
Can he do the whole shave through paper towel bullshit?
Probably, but yeah, I don't know. It cuts branches real good.
I believe it. I believe it.
I was doing some yard maintenance this week, so.
As I say, I'm still working on getting mine to that final polish, but it's scary how well it cuts with a burr.
Yeah, just the geometry of it. It really goes back to that geometry is more important than actual blade steel itself type of thing. Ben, how's it going, brother? Glad you could join us.
Indeed. What's going on, Ben? On that note, I was rocking the X Series Trapper by Pena because I don't need to say anymore.
Well, you know,
should, though.
You needed something to chop branches with, and you weren't done your Puko, so you had your Pena. Just
what
handy.
else was I going to use?
Right.
Really?
So no other options in your collection.
None.
He looked at the chingueta for a second, but he was like, no.
No, I need to
This.
sharpen that before I cut anything with it.
Well, that's, yeah. It's a bludgeoning tool
That's-
more than anything else.
It's a mace.
Ugh.
It's next.
What's everybody else carrying in chat? Not that there's... Oh, no, there's 6 people watching. Okay. There's a few more.
There's at least one more person out there. I assume 3 of those 6 is us.
Yeah,
Never
may
me.
or may not be.
I'm never counted into that. Because I don't. I have to suffer through it once. Why would I do it another time, even if it's simultaneous?
Touche.
That's some good advertising for our channel there, Joe. I hate it. I can't stand watching it. I don't want to put myself through that.
I got to see myself on
Mostly,
camera
it's not like
once
listening to my
already.
own voice. I
That
don't
too.
think anybody likes listening to their own voice.
No.
You get over it.
No.
After a certain amount of time. Yeah. So Infinite is back to his 357. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Not the worst choice you could make. Just try not to drop it tip first on the concrete like a certain idiot did.
Well, the 357 is a little thicker, so it might withstand it a little bit better than yours did. But
Well, wider at the tip, but it's a pretty thin blade stock on that thing, right?
Joe's held up surprisingly well.
Yeah. It's not going to come through super well on my webcam, but yeah, there was like a tiny nick on the back end of the spine, but rest seemed to be pretty good.
Yeah, it is ever so slightly less jabby.
I just realized I
like
left the AC running, so I'm going to go turn that off. Just one sec.
how dare you, Joe? It was actually really nice and thunder showery and cool, so
There we go.
I didn't have any of the AC going today. It's windows open and the fresh, clean air and so forth.
Quick shout out to Dick Richards in chat. What's going on?
Hey.
Evening. Good evening.
So what are we going to talk about tonight?
Well, Blade Show 2021 is going to be pretty much on the forefront, I imagine. I don't know if anyone has any topics other than Blade Showy crap.
No, I really don't.
I have something if we need filler, but it can easily go next week as well.
Okay. I think we're probably going to have enough to talk about this week that we won't be wanting for too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, which company do we want to dive with? I think for me, CRKT would be the easiest place because they already have all their stuff up online that we can peruse through without having to go other places. Yeah. Knife News does have a bunch as well, but yeah.
Yeah, we can go to CRKT, check that out.
I know Joe's already looked at some of the pictures of things that I've sent him that got my attention, so he probably knows kind of some of my thoughts. But Paul, what standout companies on the Blade Show? What was jumping out at you as far as companies? We don't have to go into specifics, but
To be honest, I haven't seen a whole bunch.
way to do your homework. No.
Right.
Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
So there's certain things from the things that I have seen that like are jumping out to me. The CRKT front lock thing is interesting.
Okay, I was going to dive into that. Fisk, how's it going? CRKT more important than 2021 CRK? We'll get there. Chris Reeve had some things to talk about for sure. Yeah.
I don't know anything about that, to be honest.
Oh, wow, we could skim over the Chris Reeve. No, we'll give them their time in court type of
Time in court.
There was some things I've noticed, but where do we want to start? The front lock thing?
Yeah, sure.
Worlds?
So I kind of just ignored the front lock thing when I first saw this listed on the website because I'm like, okay, cool, another mid back lock. I didn't realize the way it actuated was actually different.
Okay, so I sent Joe a picture of another knife that is a Stiegel Walt design. Steigerwalt?
Steigerwald? I don't know.
Steigerwalt? Yeah.
Steigerwald.
Just a quick shout out to Stanson357 in chat. What's going on? And Brandon Phoenix. What's
Evening,
up?
guys. Glad you could join us.
Was this...
So, front lock. Front lock, you says. Oh, first of all, the Kith is the small little gentlemanly type of one.
Does
And the
anybody else
Kova?
hear it said in
Mike Tyson's
Mike
voice?
Tyson's
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Of
He
course.
just wants to kith you a little bit.
Now
It's
kith.
fine. You too, kith. Kith to the death. Too much. That was too much. Anyway, with its cheeky marbled carbon fiber look to the plastic.
So I did see Blade HQ's video on this. I kind of like the way it looks in that like studio lighting. It looks a lot better than a lot of the plastics they've been putting out. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think they're trying too hard, or?
I don't know. I would have not minded the checker pattern or even the diamond pattern that the Kova has. Just done in black. I think with the two-tone black and the shimmery, it would have looked okay as well.
Here, I'll try and bring up a...
I find like they did it on... What was the Ken Onion design
barely
that
see
had...
it. I'm trying to find a good close... Yeah, okay, there's a good close-up of the texture there.
There was a Ken Onion design for CRKT that had what looked to be carbon fiber was actually plastic checkering and things like that type of idea. Yeah, stuff like that is not necessarily bad, but I think the marbled carbon fiber thing, I don't know, we'll see what the texture looks like and how plasticky the shiny spots are compared to
the big thing.
build.
I think that's what I was thinking, is how's this actually going to feel in hand? And I imagine for the use case for this knife, it's not going to be the end of the world. But
well, and I think this is definitely the smaller offering, right? This is more of a traditional kind of size Cody 72 type of exactly.
Yeah.
I think so. CEO maybe sized at best, right?
I was going to say, here's some in-hand comparison shots between the Kith and the Kova. The Kith is quite petite for sure.
I am liking the Kova if that was actually in some sort of reputable steel and or handle. 8CR, Price point is going to be dirt cheap though. They're going to be
yes.
Yeah. Okay, so sorry,
a D2
Paul.
sprint run yet?
What's that? Sorry.
Have they made a D2 sprint run of it yet?
They haven't even.
Probably a Blade HQ exclusive, but yeah.
Yeah, you're just hoping. Do you want me to pull up that picture of the other Steigerwald design you had mentioned?
Well, okay, so the front lock, yes.
So they're saying that the front lock works off of the liners themselves bending. And it's funny that you and I thought of the same thing.
Well, that's because we both owned the knife that it's kind of based off of.
Yeah. I don't own it. I thought of the same knife as well.
Okay,
good.
So there's a Benchmade Torrent that is spring assisted. Do you have it with you?
Yes.
Joe?
So let's bring some light into the situation here.
So I got a picture of a disassembly, and basically the liners do have spring and flex, and the bar, Joe, if you could show it off in the knife, but also maybe even circle it with your mouse, where the blade is actually connected to the spring.
Yeah. So here and then here. Yeah.
Black Frost, glad you could join us.
Indeed.
Cheers. Yeah. So yes, though that spring there where it's touching will kick it forward. The nitrous assist, as it were, which I thought was a patent that Benchmade had.
Yes. Well, it's a patent that they were using. I don't know if it's licensed or through them, or if Steigerwald holds the license, or what the deal is with that.
So basically what they did is they took that exact same technology, and instead of attaching it to the tang of the blade, they're now attaching it to the lock bar on the back of the knife. But to my understanding, it works the exact same way.
Yeah.
So
maybe it's just different enough.
Well, it's a lock bar instead of an assist.
Yeah.
So they're using the exact same mechanics, but for two different purposes. So it's kind of treading on some technology, but yeah, kind of cool on how to innovate it. So
I think this is a neat use for that type of cutaway. I really like if you can put stuff in the knife where it's going to be unobtrusive and still provide that function. Super cool. And using the liners as springs, it's a really neat idea. I wish you would see it more often.
Indeed. I actually just wanted to point to the fact Mr. Fisk said that CRKT is at least trying something new, which it can't be said about a lot of companies this year.
It's
a lot
true.
of stuff has been
It's
re-releases of other models, and they're nice models. Don't get me wrong, but
there's probably some companies that we're not going to talk about tonight, and that might be a reason. It's because they brought nothing to the table. For sure. So I'm not familiar with shank knives, Brandon. Sorry.
No.
And yes, curious what everyone's carrying. Justin pointed it out. Fisk didn't get a chance to. I'm going to double down just because why not, right? So
because he can.
Tell us what you're carrying.
Now, I want to see this whole lockback situation become something like a Siren or the Native that I can front close because, if you get...
be able to, because unless the liner, and this is the thing, I haven't seen any cutaways, I haven't seen drawings or disassemblies yet, but unless the liners are pretty beefy at the join, they're going to be a super easy disengagement. And it looked like on video they were having a very easy time pushing that lock bar down.
Anyway, looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I think that's like the thing you need with that. If it doesn't have that feature, then putting the lock back there doesn't do you any good. It's just a different place rather than something that makes it easier to close.
I think so, yeah.
Words.
Will I pick one up? Yeah, it's cheap, and I'm a sucker for new locking mechanisms, so I'll probably own the Kith, honestly, out of the two.
That's funny because, it's all right, but if I were to buy one of these knives, it would be the Kova just for the utility of it.
Getting some thunder.
I
Very
like
nice.
I
was going to say, the Kova is so much larger, and it's only $5 more. That really tells you something about the cost of the materials they're working anyway. I'll quit bitching about HCR. It doesn't stop me. It doesn't stop me from buying stuff.
So Black Frost is carrying the 357 and the Super Freak, doubling down just because, one for each hand, right? So,
hell yeah.
I can't remember what you said.
The Strider Benza 21, we saw pictures earlier in Fisk's story. If you didn't, you're missing out. It was good stuff. Stuff. The Strybenza, as it is, right? So
Strybenza.
I hate it, but it did make me laugh.
Yep.
And then Dick Richards has got the Crossbones Mini, which is pretty awesome. Yeah.
Very nice.
And did not gut himself with his enough serrated blade. So that's good news. Yeah, way to put that aside when you're snoozing. That's safety first. Safety first. Is there anything else on CRKT that we want to talk about? Persian Minimalist?
I would... Persian Minimalist, I mean, that's basically all you need to know about it. Blade's a little bit longer. They're using HCR for a standard version, which is nice.
And Alan Foltz had some ridiculous success with his ritual being all Persian-y, which is really unusual that he had as much success as he had. But yeah, cool. Run with it. And so he went on the Persian train and made a minimalist.
Yeah.
I've seen a couple pictures, and it looks bigger. I don't know.
The blade is actually like a half inch or an inch longer. I don't know about the handle, though.
The handle ratio is actually and I don't know. I'm kind of curious about that myself, but just because, it's
interesting.
I will probably own one.
I could see you buying this. Well, neck knives, right? Yeah, I could see you buying one or two. Oh, speaking of size changes that provoke compact, I was just about to navigate away because I'm like, oh, there's nothing else interesting here. The compact doesn't look like it's that much smaller than the full size, this is the full size than large hand for reference. It's still D2 though for the blade.
And they've talked about in the Blade HQ video, they talked about it being slimmer.
Yeah, so more narrow
So,
that way as well, which is interesting.
Yeah, they thinned out kind of the bars and whatever type of thing. Yeah, in the pocket. And then the pocket clip apparently protrudes much, much more, which is kind of nice because the first one was kind of a bitch to work with.
Yeah.
So
this one's not too bad. I don't know how
it was
different.
kind of a bitch to work with.
No, that's me, not the
Joe
knife.
does seem better though.
So
yeah,
but yeah,
I don't know whether that was something they fixed on the polymer version, but didn't fix on the original D2 full size or not. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's interesting, but isn't the regular Provoke going for what is it, 200 on their website? I can't remember.
I'm not 100% sure. I want to double back to the minimalists. For the record, the Persian minimalist is 5/100ths of an inch longer. So I'm right.
5/100ths?
5/100ths of an inch longer.
Okay, so the whole thing is a little bit larger. That's cool.
Yeah, 5/100 is nothing. Like it's that's the place that they added the jimping basically, right? So
5% of an inch.
But anyway.
Yeah. And yeah, Provoke goes for 200. So this is going to be $50 American cheaper. Okay.
And then they were trying to lie to us and tell us that there's some sort of green in this aluminum handle.
Yeah, that's... What did they call it in Blade HQ's video? Metallic OD green? And
yeah.
I mean, yeah, there are some green tones to this, but...
I'm sorry, which part is supposed to be green?
I'm pretty sure the handle, the ring part of it.
Yeah, so like the orange bit here, there it's supposed to be, yeah.
But they're probably going to be green, almost like my AWT scales were green, where they are, but they're kind of like gray at the same time.
It's so subtle of a color. Like, I mean, okay, call it what you will, because it's close enough, you can get away with it, but in the video, it didn't look nearly as green as it does in the photo, if I'm being completely honest.
Wow.
Wait a minute, are those security torques?
Looks like
Yeah.
it.
Oh, I wonder how many problems they've had with people adjusting these screws and disassembling them and not being able to get them back together. Like that was my situation for a few hours.
I've played with some where the lateral, you could tell someone messed with it. It did not go the same as it did when they bought it. Type of thing, right? So
probably a smart move to put in security torques. Just like, no, it's fine. Just leave it alone.
It's fine the way it is.
And then and dabble on CRKT coming out with a pry bar 2 years after everyone else. So cool. Good job.
Well, it's not just a pry bar, it's a pry cutter, you see.
For very tiny pizzas.
Is there any ever time where, yeah, exactly, you want to have a personal pan pizza and pry a door open at the exact same moment?
Well, within 30 seconds of each other, yes.
That way you can come through the door with 2 pieces of pizza.
I mean,
you Kramer it right through with pizza, and who's going to turn it down? I mean, you don't live here.
But I brought pizza.
Exactly.
Oh, saw a meme the other day about like if Kramer came into my apartment like that, I just full on kick his ass. Yeah, 100%.
So there was one thing that I noticed about this pry bar that I don't know if it's even worth mentioning, but
the nail pull.
So there's a screwdriver bit in there.
Yes.
That you can then fit into one of the cutouts in the handle where it's sitting.
Did you watch the Blade H? You did not watch the Blade HQ video? Apparently,
No.
Just when you can turn that bit, those 2 rubber bands kind of hold it in place, and you twist it down into from where it sits.
Okay. But my point being, there's nothing on the backside holding it in place, right? So when I put it onto a screw, you need downwards pressure as well as rotational pressure.
You got to press your thumb. You got to press your thumb into the back of that bit and just hope that it's not, more than finger tight.
People have been using screwdrivers for a very long time. That's not a screwdriver.
Gonna need some sources cited on that one. Screwdrivers used for a long time. The first time hearing of it.
Fuck you, Joe.
Sorry.
while. It's been a little while since they used it.
I mean,
Anytime I see a pocket pry bar with like O-rings for any reason, I always have questions. It's like, why? This is a terrible idea. You should never have done this. Terrible.
also, there's just an exposed blade on it.
At least it's inset, I guess, but yeah, it is kind of an odd choice
You're
to
gonna cut
just
some shit.
toss it and loose in your pocket.
Either you're gonna cut something, or something is going to contact it and damage the edge.
I think the second. I think they're both likely. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna bang up against your change.
Was there anything else new that they talked
Yeah,
about?
good.
The assisted squid that nobody cares about?
It's a black one instead of a silver one. We talked about the stylus a while back.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
the shenanigans. So yeah. Do we want to get into some Chris Reeve stuff just to make Fisk happy? Because
Yeah, we can do that.
Sure.
there are some things.
Take her away. I don't know anything.
Well, the biggest thing that I saw was that he was using MagnaCut.
Oh, really?
And there was Sabenzas for sale at the Blade Show with some MagnaCut. And they were going for exorbitant amounts of money.
So I'm assuming very limited production then. I'm assuming.
He's gonna be so mad at me
Sure.
because I'm so excited about that.
Well, like
Yeah.
I mean, there's no word of them being listed anywhere else or being available for purchase.
I was looking on Chris Reeve's website just to see anything going on whatsoever, but yeah,
Is he still going to the Blade shows, or is he even involved with those anymore?
I think it was Tim that I saw the videos with.
Okay.
Yeah, 2000. There was we double that, boys. There was one that was 4Gs, and it was a Damascus onlay onto some sort of other sort of frame, titanium something with MagnaCut, and it was going for 4K.
I'm excited to try MagnaCut, but one of the big things that Laren was on about when he announced it was that it was going to be very affordable to purchase. So don't think,
Of course it is.
but
It's 4 times the price of S45. I guess.
I paid 50 pounds of it the first time round.
competitive pricing is what they were looking for. But
Oh, there you go. And Fisk is mentioning they made 10 of the Knife Steel Nerd versions and a couple of the one-off inlay versions. So,
okay.
yeah, I saw one for 2K, saw one for 32, saw one for 4. So,
Were they nice looking at least?
sure.
Were they as fine as frog fur?
If you are into that sort of bling with the Damascus and the onlays and the inlays and the whatever, sure.
Paul sits thinking of his gold class. Yeah.
Right over there.
Although I think they did a couple with just like some handle scale normal,
So like
handled ones that weren't crazy. I'm not sure. Fisk probably knows more than I do about this. Yeah.
fair enough.
Yeah, but that's the 21 instead of the newer one.
Yeah, right.
31 type.
Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting that they are doing the crappy
Mhm.
onlays now.
Mhm.
All right.
So, yeah.
I'm not biased. I'm not
Yeah.
upset.
We all hate Paul Fisk. It's okay. We're in this together. John, Ray, glad you could join us.
Indeed.
I'm
What's up?
gonna keep this train rolling and not let you sit on the hate train for
Too
yeah.
long.
the hate train needs to keep rolling. It can
I see.
continue to hate, but it needs to keep moving.
I see.
Okay, other than that, I think that's all that Chris Reeve really had to show was the fancy fancies. Which is saying something. Just for the exclusivity of it all, right? So
It's not like Chris Reeves announcing brand new products every year, though, right? Like it's
like every 3 or 4 years they announce something new. That's
so
what it feels
it's
like.
not unheard of for him just to have. I won't hate on him like others.
No, but
don't hate on him like Paul. That's for sure.
I thought we were keeping this hate train moving.
Well, it's rolling. I said the hate's coming with
yeah.
us. It's can't leave the hate behind.
oh,
To answer Mr. Fisk's question, it's Joe. Joe keeps inviting me every week. That's the reason I'm here.
I could
You're
stop,
gonna have to
but
have a heart-to-heart with Joe. Okay,
not.
so yeah, that was Chris Reeve, and the big news is they were shelling out big money for some MagnaCut versions that are going to go in the secondary market for even more money.
yeah, hey, are we gonna bitch about aspects of the hobby we don't like again? Because that I still don't like that aspect of the hobby. But
Does anybody like that aspect?
the scalpers do.
Okay, but if I'm buying a Magnicut
It's like
Sabenza and someone's willing to pay 2, 3, 4 times what I paid for it,
Look, ultimately the
Are
problem
you
comes
telling
down
me
to the
you're-
demand for those things. That's what it comes down to. It's
yeah, make
Yeah.
more than 10.
Yeah.
Dude, if they made a regular production of Magnicut, that would be amazing.
that would
Can
be
you
the
imagine
thing.
if they came in at a regular price though, after these guys paid $2 and $4 grand for them?
Well, yeah. If they
Well,
came,
what do you mean? It's not like you're a Forest Green S45 PM2.
I was just gonna say,
$100 more.
has it been like 4 or 5 weeks in a row we've brought up that knife just to fucking slag on Spyderco?
Yeah, you wanted to make the title that 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah. It still pisses me off. Speaking of, the only thing I'm gonna say about Spyderco, and as far as Blade Show's concerned, is womp womp.
Oh, we're going to talk about Spyderco? I made a comment
That's all-
about not talking about the
that's-
companies that didn't
That's
wow
all.
me. But...
Well, that's just it. That's it. That's all I wanted to say was just womp.
That was the comment.
Yeah.
I will say, hang on. They actually had a blue K390 straight spine stretch.
Yeah, they.
He
finally
didn't
got
have to
theirs.
hold
Oh.
up 2 knives
Yeah,
and show color
but
with
you know
this
what-
knife and
but
white
you know what
It
handle
was a
with this knife. instead.
VG10 and a white one. They just dyed the handles and re-etched the blade.
Sure they did because
They didn't. Did they make a VG10 straight spined?
Wasn't it not
the,
VG10,
the
white
wide
one?
handle. Yeah.
Was the first one? Okay, yeah. I couldn't remember. That's how much I paid attention to that knife.
Yeah,
I
that's fair.
paid more attention to the fact that it wasn't blue. That's what I paid attention to.
Well,
It
the only
wasn't.
the only
Good for
real
them.
new thing I learned from Spyderco was that the PM2 with crew wear and the micarta handles is going to be full stainless steel liners as opposed to
Yeah, I
inset,
figured that was worth mentioning as well. Yeah.
which is interesting to learn for sure. But yeah, everything else is that it really feels like they're scrambling to get shit out the door. So
So
yeah.
it makes me super interested because they were talking about having a hard time with the integrity of the micarta and just putting it down because inlaying things into it. So there's 2 versions of an inlaid compression lock shaman node on the market that may or may not be having issues over time with micarta. I'm just saying.
Are they as thin at the edge as the PM2? Maybe.
I think it relatively is because they're all the compression lock kind of all sits in the same spot on all.
Fair.
Yeah, so it kind of makes me wonder on those who didn't safe queen any of those crew carta shamans and stuff.
I
haven't
actually done any diving.
I think
around.
some of them were used. Yeah.
I've seen some photos, but I haven't done any diving into forums to see if people are making threads complaining about it or if it's just people on Instagram.
Well, I'm just curious about it because all of a sudden they switched and was like, no, full steel liners and the mechanics of it. And the shaman's probably supposed to be harder use than a PM2 is. So
you'd imagine so.
Poking the bear a little bit,
Yeah. Oh,
so what I'm really saying is someone really needs to hard use their shaman until it breaks, and then we can laugh at Spyderco all together, except for the person who broke their shaman. But it's do it for the channel is what I'm saying. Yeah.
Send your shaman to SE and see what they'll do for you.
Thanks for the free knife, and just keep it.
We'll give you 3 arrowheads. Here you go.
That's
equivalent value. What are you talking about?
Have you seen the price of their arrowheads? It almost is.
Mr. Fisk does have the crew air micarta shaman with no issues yet.
Good to hear. Other companies. Paul, did you have a Blade Show company, anything that you caught your eye?
I don't know if I'm going to take something away from Joe, but I kind of want to talk about the image has been on the screen for a lot of tonight.
We can talk about it. You can talk about it.
Indeed.
Are we talking case?
Yeah, let's talk case.
Well, they're doing so well in the traditional market lately.
Oof.
Felt that.
What? I said they were doing so well in the traditional market. Those words weren't derogatory in any way.
No, you don't. You don't think? Not even a little?
You can take the
I think
inflection for
there's
what
some
you
double
will.
speak in there.
Yeah.
What do you mean modern traditionals have pulled away any interest that was remaining among?
Well, okay, so there's Rough Riders, there is the Elkridge, and like there is a whole bunch of stuff that is turning. I mean, even the GCs and the Northwoods, to some
Yeah.
extent, but they're the higher price pointed ones for sure.
Yeah, if you're lucky
But
enough to
it's-
get them at drop, they're not that much more expensive though.
For less
But
than
I
half
think
the
what-
price of a case, I can get these, and they're of similar or better quality.
But
Yeah.
what? So I think what we're actually witnessing right now is this on the verge of traditionals crashing the market. Paul just crashed his market. What is going on over there?
I don't
it's
know.
just my desk. It's not the market. It's okay.
Why are you filming this channel while you're at the market? That's poor decision planning
I don't
right
know,
there.
people-
Boo!
Anyway,
What are we?
Um,
What are we witnessing, Dennis?
so no, the traditional market being flooded on the Chinese market, just like the normal folders are being right now, with the GSPs and the Civivis and the artisans and the CJRBs and the blah 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 that's happening in the normal market. I think we're going to notice that on the traditionals as well, and I think we're starting to. And this might be a direct cause on why Case decides to come out with some flippers.
It's
Like-
almost as if Buck hasn't been making traditionals in China forever, or what's the other big one? Oh shoot, there was another one. Hen and Rooster. Like, there's a lot that have been around for forever.
Or Schrade.
Queen?
Like
Schrade, yeah.
Schrade has been making Chinese traditionals for 20 plus years, right? So
Yeah, unfortunately, there's still a
yeah,
lot.
I mean, everyone likes the Dav Gear knives. You just don't know it until you do. Justin, as far as
Then
you like Dav Gear knives too, I guarantee it.
You just
There's
don't
some
know.
Dav Gear in your those
The red one there.
Yes.
Since we're talking about Dav gear, and I suspect the reason why this knife reminds me of another knife is because it was picked out of a catalog from Dav gear.
So all y'all are gonna hate me about this, but if you took the flipper off, this is very close to a Benchmade sequel.
If you leave the flipper on,
It's at 450, almost identically.
Kinda. Your swedge doesn't go all the way
okay,
center.
but the profile of the knife is
Similar to
damn near bang on.
I'm trying to find my sequel.
Do you have the second
There we
image, Joe, from the lock side of that thing?
So
I do.
It looks like a sequel. It's a sequel blade on a 450 body.
yeah, actually, I'll give you that because of the finger choil on the handle and stuff like that. Yeah, that's totally what it is. Yeah, for sure.
I'm
But as soon as that picture was propped open without the flipper tab, as soon as I saw it, I was like, holy shit, that's a sequel. For sure it is.
yeah.
Now,
It's too bad because Benchmade needs to bring out the sequel, not Case Knives. Jesus.
now that being said, this is still S35, and it's an aluminum frame lock, which is kind of cool.
Yeah,
So
look at those tight tolerances on those frame locks, too. It's sweet.
it was done with a 1/32 inch end mill instead of water jet. Because why? Who knows? That's a tiny.
It was cast, and you know it.
It could be.
Fair
Oh,
enough.
okay. So this is jumping a little bit, but I just remind me later. Cast and Demco knives. Some interesting information there.
Okay.
This is a bit of a bigger knife, obviously, than this guy.
It's kind
Not
of
by much.
It looks
but
full sized. It looks Crooked River full sized.
Yeah.
Almost.
452.
Yeah.
And what's about this other guy?
And let's just say whatever's going on in the comments, because the comments got derailed as well. But
Indeed.
we're knife lovers, not knife fighters around here, and that's all we're gonna say. Maybe that's because we're all Canadian and we're a little too polite up here.
Yep.
Maybe a little.
I'm sorry.
So
And
Don't be sorry. I got my fact right here.
this other knife, this black anodized one, I couldn't find the knife that it reminds me of, but it reminds me of something that I've seen before.
Give me a
I
second.
was looking through some Buck stuff. I was looking through.
It's an Airlight. Cold Steel Airlight.
That handle looks nothing like the Cold Steel
Except
Airlight.
No, the blade shape.
Yeah, the blade
Okay,
is...
sure, but
The handle is a Benchmade Amicus.
It almost looks
that's
like the
yeah.
Hussar, but the sweep is different.
The Hussar is very close too, but it's a yeah.
But yeah, there's something out there that is this exact knife.
But the blade shape looks very Airlighty.
Yeah.
Without the flipper, again, like it's
The Airlights kind of do that Chris Reeve Tanto thing.
They do. They're copying, yeah. But on a slimmer profile, which is kind of what this is as well, right? So
Yeah.
Hey, look, another aluminum.
I don't know what to tell you about Case and their flippers.
I'm guessing Teflon. If I had to.
Ball
Did I
bearings,
say?
I thought.
Really?
Think. Are you kidding?
Uh,
Super easy to throw some ball bearing. It doesn't actually say one way or another.
it might say in here. I'm just starting to read it.
S35.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, it's
Ball-
the new
ball bearing
Chinese
pivot.
D2.
It is on ball bearing pivot. Nice. So
It's the new Chinese D2. Are you kidding me? Like the Milwaukee, what was the knife?
'Kay, but
Hardline.
here's the thing.
which-
This is made in the States, though. I was under the impression that both of these are States made.
Are they USA made?
Well, they're marked with USA on the blade, so that's breaking a few treaty. That's a
Yeah,
couple
it
treaty
is.
violations if they are just doing it openly.
Marilla
Just
S35.
put
VN
made in
USA.
China right underneath it. It'll be fine.
USA
Aw.
design. It's an USA design.
Yeah, no. And the knife is a part of the first collection of modern everyday carry knives to be crafted in our Bradford, PA factory. Yeah, they're made.
Bradford.
They're made stateside.
Oh, Bradford, Pennsylvania, not
Yeah.
the Bradford factory. I was like,
Yeah,
what?
no. This is
Bradford's making folders? What is happening?
Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm
For
pretty sure
Case of all people?
yeah.
I'm pretty sure they bought Zippo, and they
Sure.
make their Zippos in Bradford, Pennsylvania.
That's where they're getting all the aluminum from. It all makes sense.
What aluminum? I'm confused. Extra confused.
So yeah, that's all. That's I don't know.
It's super weird. I'm interested to see how it goes because we've seen a couple Italian aluminum frame locks, right? But nothing in the States yet. So this will be interesting, and they're
Well,
relatively affordable for what they are.
It's kind of like when like Gerber went from like traditionals to like all of a sudden it was all black tactical all the time type of thing. Because Gerber for a long time was traditionals, but that was 40 goddamn years ago. Case like seriously, you're a little behind on the times if you decide to go into the modern.
It'd be
market
super
in
cool if
2021.
well, it'd be kind of cool to see if like Case returns to relevancy in the next as far as like commonly found in people's pockets. In the next couple of years.
It depends on their relationship with Bass Pro Sports is what that comes down to.
Mm-hmm.
And you might just see these two knives in a lot of people's pockets depending on what they have to offer.
Oh,
prediction.
Hold on. It's not showing in the photo here. It might be an error, but I don't see an over travel stop at all. And this is an aluminum frame lock.
Don't worry about it.
I'm a little worried. I hope that there's.
The Case has a great warranty.
Is it as good as Essie?
I doubt it. Anyway.
Yeah. Sorry, I think I interrupted Paul with that, but I just noticed it, and I'm like, ooh, okay.
So the prediction I have, I know who's going to do a review of one of these already. Cutlery Lover, I'm calling it now. He's going to do a review.
Oh yeah, well he's a pretty big Case fan though, isn't he?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, I may have spoken too soon. It does look like there might actually be some sort of stabilizer there. It's kind of hard
on
to
the
tell.
inside. Yeah.
It looks like there's a stabilizer on the blue one for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe they rendered it without the.
Are we going to talk about better companies?
Yeah, sure. Let's stop shoveling so much shit, I guess.
Yeah, well, there's a handful of stuff that
So,
came out, right?
did you want to talk about the one thing I was interested in that
I'm
lineup?
guessing it was the first email that I sent you.
Oh, I don't know about the first one. I just saved all the photos in bulk. I can't
It was
tell
two
now.
pictures. One was a comparison picture, and one was an option of 4.
Oh, well, I'm excited about that too. That's pretty. I thought you
Okay.
would be really excited about those as well. Yeah.
No,
Was it the
I,
one
I
you
am,
put
but you
video?
can talk away on your topic, and we'll talk about that after.
And what was that, Paul? I missed that.
Was it the one you showed me at work today?
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
So the only thing that I was interested in out of Böker's lineup was this thing that they call the ice pick.
The ice pick dagger.
Yeah. It's a folder with VG10 and anodized liner
so
lock hardware.
I snagged some
Ooh.
pictures. Yeah.
Um,
I knew you boys were going to be right on this train, but so am I.
Yeah.
For some weird reason, it ruined totally.
What do you mean?
100%.
Yeah, that's exactly what we were saying, and I was like, man, I'm never getting my Pardew back from Dennis, so I better
Okay,
get
so
this
here's
Böker.
the one messed up thing though, is they did that weird one single liner thing.
Yeah.
It's not brassy with a random red line on the other side though, so I kind of like it. It's
Where is
off
that?
centered.
There it is. There it is. Wait, I got it. That video's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, this thing,
Yeah.
that monster.
It's beautiful. What are you talking about?
With the pocket clip matching, I don't hate it on this one. I don't like it on yours.
I actually.
I don't like it on yours.
Well, it's the red on one side and the brass on the other. It's like.
Okay, so
Okay.
when you get clearance prices on an Excalibur,
I'm not gonna. I'm not saying
I'm not hating on your knife.
No.
It's just
you didn't make
you should.
the wrong
You
choice,
should hate a
but-
little bit on that knife. It is not a good knife.
But this knife looks clean as hell. I want one pretty badly. Yeah.
is that carbon fiber side on, or am I just seeing just one specific angle that's like that?
It is carbon fiber. The back spacer and both scales are carbon fiber.
No,
Yeah.
I understand that, but is there another picture face on? Just the angle
Yeah.
that we're looking at right here, it looks like it's cross-cut carbon fiber.
Oh no, this. I think it's done stacked up
Okay,
regularly, but there is a little bit of contouring to the
There
handle.
is some rounding on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just the way that photo was, all I was seeing was the contour line, and I was like, really? That's fucking badass.
And yeah, we'll get to Demko. Knives.
And you know what? Mr. Fisk also mentioned thin blue line vibes, and especially with it really looks like a bullet casing thumb plate.
Oh
I
yeah,
didn't realize it until just this moment, but it is kind of thin blue liney.
a little bit.
Doesn't stop me from liking the knife.
So
concerned that it's called the ice pick a little bit more now.
Well, ice pick grip.
Come on.
No, it's based off
you
of a
have
custom
to
called
embrace
the ice
some
pick.
Italian. Yeah.
Come on! Fucking Panucci.
Exactly. So for me, other than Demko Knives, which we'll get there. For me, Böker Knives stole the show for me on this one.
You liked a lot of their stuff. Yeah, I thought you would.
Okay, so no, it's not necessarily liked a lot of their stuff. The Ice Pick Dagger, I think, was probably one of my favorites out of all of them.
Fair enough. All right.
I've been eyeballing the Nesme Pro for a long time. Now, I didn't send you a picture of that, but that's because it came out at the beginning of the year and it was kind of a repeat this year. But I think they put some sort of coating on it or something now for a black shimmery something. Anyway, so the Nesme Pro, I kind of vibe on. But the one, they have a collaboration with HEA and they're doing a Hunter.
Yeah.
Which is kind of surprising.
Yeah, I've got the HEA up now.
Yeah. So the fact that HEA is like, hey, let's give you a G10 VG10 version of a front flipper, and it is a front flipper, by the way, for this guy.
It is.
That Böker's going to put out.
Now I want 2 Bökers. I'm upset about that.
It
Oh, you're going to
happens.
want maybe a third one, depending on what happens in this next picture. But so, yeah, dude. And then the Nesme Pro as well, if you want to throw up a picture of that, because I think that thing's a sexy little Nesmuck. But
what? How do you spell the
the
name of it?
HEA NESSMI, and then Pro.
Oh, I think I remember this one.
Yeah, I talked about it during the SHOT Show, but they reiterated it now with a black micarta and copper lanyard tubes.
It looks nice.
So now they've got a black micarta, and it's the coffee bag, so it's still white stripes in the black micarta with copper tubing and a silvery black. I don't know how to explain it. The 3V stuff from Cold Steel.
Okay.
That kind of shimmery black. I have a mini Pembleton that is kind of that color. Anyway.
I was hoping for a photo, but I don't see one
I
here.
was going to say DLC, or is it like a bluing? Maybe?
Yeah, almost, but yeah. Anyway. So that guy there, the Ice Pick Dagger, the HEA collaboration kind of came out of left field. I was kind of shocked on that one that they decided to go that route. But lastly, they also are starting to do a collaboration with Winkler Knives.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but it sounds like a penis.
Winkler. So, they've been a thing for a while. These are going to be coming out with SK5, and normally Böker's SK5 has been pretty reasonable priced. So I'm curious on what the collaboration. This knife doesn't necessarily wow me either, but the fact that they're doing collabs with HEA and with Winkler, yeah, I'm in, man.
It's interesting. It's very interesting.
Have you actually looked up Winkler Knives, Paul, at all, or familiar with? Or they make some pretty sweet fixed blades, ADCRV2 and stuff like that for their steels.
Okay. Homepage here for a second.
And then HEA has been doing the Pill and the Antidote and the Hunter, and Advanced Knife Bro has got some sweet videos on HEA designs.
Those things were very fighty. I was into
They got a little bit of the clip point pistol grippy style going on, but classy and super nice woods and
all right.
Yeah. So more Winklers, please. Yeah.
Paul,
can we take that sound bite?
All the Winklers in my hands. I will take the
one clutched between your teeth like a pirate.
That's less for Paul and more for Joe, I think.
No.
Anyway.
So yeah, Böker doing some pretty cool shit.
And yeah, like I said, there's a couple of them that I'm not even going to be buying myself. Like the HEA doesn't necessarily wow me, but
this boy here,
they're turning some heads.
Cool to see. That clip point is stupid aggressive though. Like it's.
What were you going to say, Paul?
Wasn't Böker one of the companies at the beginning of the year that we were talking about being really excited by?
Well, they had some of the traditionals with the castle and stuff like that, didn't they?
That was last year.
Or was that last year's? I don't know. Or
the year before. Might have been the year before.
Anyway, Plumwood and all of that garbage.
Yeah.
I don't remember what Böker wowed me with other than the Nesme Pro, because that little bastard is cute as hell.
It kind of is.
Yeah.
It really kind of is.
Something else Nesmucky from them that was good looking.
Wouldn't be shocked.
Do you want to do Demko now that,
I think we should probably talk about Demko.
So
Fisk has been asking for it for a while now. So
oh really? Is he going off in comments? I'm sorry to make you laugh. Yeah. Or make you wait.
No,
so I'm going to be a dick and say I didn't actually watch the video on Demko Knives, but I'm familiar with it. Basically, they're releasing an 80-20 and a couple different blade shapes, if I remember correctly.
So they've got the clip point, and then they've got the shark's foot, which it's cute.
Shark's foot.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And they even said,
"I want one just for the name."
I know. Normally,
I would better than a knife that looks like a shark.
Yeah. Yes, 100%. Sorry, Paul.
Fuck you both.
No thanks. I'm good. I'm good.
Where's the body cam?
There you go.
Almost.
Over there.
Almost got me. Almost.
Almost got a spit take from Joe.
So I don't know whether this was something said erroneously or whether this is actually the case, but when they're discussing how the knife is made in Knife Center's video, there is a brief moment where Demko refers to his lock bar, the thing that actually slides on the back end for this knife that locks it up, as being injection molded steel, is what he says.
MIM. Kershaw did a blade with MIM.
Yeah, that's super interesting, and especially after he talks about how much weight the knife can hold up, and he says, like, I was hoping for 150 pounds. It's something closer to like 720, 750,
now,
like foot pounds of force.
I really want to know what that steel is that he's using for MIM, because they had some serious issues doing metal injected molds.
So casting steel generally does not give the best structure if you're looking for strength and something to resist deformation. Well, just saying it out loud for the people who maybe don't know. So for this technology to be in use for an ultra tough locking folder, very interesting. And the fact
half a step up from pewter. I don't know what you mean.
Well, fuck. I mean, apparently it can handle all of that kind of pressure without major deformation. So this
Kershaw actually did a knife. I believe it was called the Alien. If you just type in Kershaw MIM, it'll come up. And they used 440C because that was one of the few things that they can get some consistency on. And I have seen disassemblies of the mechanism. It's halfway between like all of the things, an access lock and the ball bearing lock from Spyderco, and like kind of a lock back at the same time with a triad pin and stuff like that type of, like, it is ingenious for sure.
It reminds me of that. What's that? Sanren, the Italian one that's the carbide or whatever.
How dare you, sir?
The lock.
Yeah, I know. It's
trying to figure out.
So the offset, there it is.
Yeah.
Not the Alien, the offset. Yeah.
It's a little alien looking, but it's
MIM 440C.
Well,
they were metal injected molding these things.
And I wonder, it's weird. Are they injecting it? I don't know. I don't know enough about how that technology actually works.
And I thought this was a Ken Onion design, but isn't that lock? Is it a hawk lock? I thought it was. But then I just thought about it, and I'm pretty sure the bump is a Ken Onion design, and it also has that same lock. So, I don't know. Oh, he also had the speed bump and the spec bump.
Oh, it is a
There was a family of bumping.
Don't talk about families bumping. It's not a... Yeah, it's definitely not a hawk design. It's a...
bump.
At least according to this. Paul? Gonna need you to stop, buddy.
Never.
But yeah, it sure looks like a Ken Onion design. I mean, the handle is a dead giveaway. But
it looks like they gave Ken Onion a ruler and said, draw a knife. So it's like all straight lines in the blade that he had to like try and curve by hand.
He's using a French curve.
He had been doing some really mild recurves up until that point, and he's like, what if I just made a finger choil a recurve? And
what if I just use all the recurve on this one knife?
He's been saving it up.
Yes.
He's got a backlog.
Then I can come out with a hootenandy that's a bit of a Warncliffe, and people will be okay with it. I got all of my recurve out of the way on this knife. Yeah. Now I can make a stylus. It's fine.
Shit. Well, anyway, interesting technology. Interesting to hear that it's being used in the lock bar as opposed to using wire EDM, I think is what he uses in-house for his own stuff, which I'm super envious that that's what he gets to play with. But you know what?
EDM
whatever.
Is neat as well. Like that technology is interesting.
Yeah, good way to do frame locks too. I think DDR was doing it for a while. Anyway, yeah, that's my little blip about Demko. It's just interesting that they're using that technology.
Does DDR have a knife called the Ram? Because if they don't, they're missing...
I think they do, actually. I could be wrong, but...
Somebody out there will get that.
All right. What are we on
They
to?
do. They do have a DDR RAM. That's funny. Anyhow. Yeah, what else are we talking about here?
Well, I sent you 2 other pictures.
You sure did. The comparison shot and then the all 4. Which one of those you want me to throw up first?
Well, and we can throw up the whole company too,
Oh, well.
because it's in knife news and there's a rundown.
Yeah, okay.
It's a true story. It's a true story.
There were 1 or 2 designs I was vaguely interested in out of these.
So Civivi came out with a bunch. Yeah. And I don't know about you, and it definitely has some Bob Terzola lines to it, but tell me that's not a Chinese fixed blade, the Lum Tanto from Spyderco. It has some serious Lum Tanto vibes
The
going
fixed
on.
blade here?
The Lum Tanto, yeah. It has some of that vibe going on all day.
Yeah.
With a little bit of quaking. Just a hint of quaking.
Just trying to
just sprinkled some quaking on him just to get him arrested a little bit easier.
I'm trying to bring up a better picture.
Like fuck you.
Well, it's not even the same knife or the same designer. Come on.
No, but that's cool as hell.
I like that kind of over molded sort of like forward C-shaped choke, I guess.
Similarities.
Yeah. The big round pin in the exact same location. Oh, no, it's not quite the same location, but still.
It's in the handle. That's a location.
Is it?
I mean,
yeah, don't you remember that CRKT Bob Terzola that came apart and there was shit on the inside? Totally a location.
Yeah.
That I'm not intrigued by. And plus, the other thing about this whole like Civivi rundown, none of it says steel, eh?
No,
I don't know if you noticed, but
I was just gonna ask
steels.
if you knew what these were.
I know the one that I sent you.
Well, sure, I know that one too, but that's only because they I think they had a link to it.
Anyway,
yeah,
that one doesn't wow me.
The Minimus, even though it's an in pocket fixed blade, this tiny little thing.
Minimus is kind of neat to me. I already seen somebody on Instagram with one.
It's just gonna stick so high in the pocket with where the pocket clip is. I don't know. It doesn't do it for me.
I see myself wearing it as a neck knife and clipping it to
or
out of my coat, things like that. That's
or a back pocket carry.
Yeah.
Might not be too bad instead of a front pocket carry, where the standing up a little bit proud isn't the end of the world type of thing.
I guess at that point, just put it on a fucking belt to be done with it.
Yeah, I've even cargo pocketed some like smaller fixed blades and stuff like that because I'm a dork that wears cargo shorts and cargo pants sometimes.
I've got side pockets on my pants right now, and I mean that's where my Ulu's been living for the last couple of weeks.
So something like that actually might be handy in a cargo short type of application. But
I just don't see myself using the clip. That's all.
The one below it kind of kicks ass on the flipper.
A little bit, yeah. And
they
picked the worst version to show in this little breakdown.
You can click on it, I believe, and it reroutes.
Yeah.
Can
I just
view then it reroutes to a green micarta.
Yeah, that one looks a lot nicer. Let me just...
Jimmy. Okay, so we and Civivi are doing these new top lighter flipper things, like the Lundquist Wii design that came out at the beginning of the year had that same thing.
There. Yeah.
Yeah, and I am liking it. It's
as you should. It's a pretty slick little design. I love not perfect, but I love very neutral handles like this, and especially in a small size format. Yeah, this is kind of cool.
It was kind of like Kaiser's little red robot thing.
Yeah, the little Baymax looking thing.
Yeah,
the Feist.
Yeah, for sure. With absolutely more of a Puko style blade.
Which, I mean, Lundquist.
Well, and it's a fine tip, and it's all belly. That's kind of nice, and it's not a trailing point, which is kind of a bonus for me.
You call that a Puko? I see that as a short Quaken.
Type in Tops Puko, the new little tiny guy. It's exactly like a Tops Puko, except a folder, not a fixed. I gotta have a government mandated break. I'll be back in 2 seconds, guys.
How dare you?
Mr. Fisk wants to force you into making more Ulus, Joe.
Yeah.
We're gonna hold you down and make you.
I wouldn't mind. I got to remake a few fixtures, but once I finish up with the current project, which, well, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
I've been waiting to get back a text or an email, so we'll
Indeed.
see. We'll see. Ulus are fun. They're things you don't see all that often. Folding Pukos, however, have appeared a few different times. And do you remember the Spyderco Nalaka? Did you ever get a chance to handle that, Paul? No?
Was that the brown Puko?
Yeah. And then they had a mini version in white. Yeah, these guys here. I like that blade shape. I really, really, really like that blade shape. The handle was always a little too square, a little too off-putting for me, and I still wish I picked one up when they were available. But
I'm into it.
But the Lundquist, this new little guy, what's it? The Lumi. It's even a cute little name. This thing just looks awesome. If I had to guess, the steel probably a 9CR, but maybe they'll say here.
I was gonna guess Nitro V. That seems to be a thing. That
if it's Nitro V, I am on board. I've been waiting for a small knife to play with Nitro V, and this would probably do it for me if that's the case.
Okay, so is that going to lead us into? Well, no, we got a couple more. So Nitro V came up in conversation with Civivi, and we'll get there. But
yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's just a cool looking knife. I think it'll do very well.
And I ran away, but yes, Tops Puko, very similar looking son of a bitch to this little guy.
Yeah. And I just brought up pictures of the Spyderco Nalaka to show Paul because he didn't recall offhand, and it's got a similar-ish blade shape, but I far prefer the handle shape here with the Lumi. Rounded corners, relatively petite and fairly symmetrical as opposed to just curved slightly. Not quite like a Sloyd knife blade, but kind of close too.
It's almost like this blade shape turned upside down.
Yeah, a little.
This one drops a little bit more, but
anyway, the Altus.
Is that the next one on the list here?
Yeah. It's a button lock without a flipper again, so it's just opening and closing with a button because Civivi being a dick like that.
However, this one is actuated by thumb stud. So
it's got a thumb stud. Sorry.
Yeah, so you don't actually need to worry about it being a gravity knife because it can only open via button. You can use the thumb studs. So I might actually check this one out. I'm a sucker for button locks, and it's a Civivi, so why the hell not? If I can get it in purple, even better.
Yeah.
I love Wii knives in Civivi's purple. Like, that's always a hard thing for me to say no to. Thing.
And you probably can, because I saw like some tables of things of people doing videos and things like that, and the tables had many color options for single models, so it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, that'll be cool. Did they say here?
And kind of just below that too is kind of tied in, also another button lock but with a flipper, and I don't know if it's only coming in house rated, but that's the picture that they're showing us.
It with the black
is cogent.
Yeah. Oh, the black does come with a non-serrated as well.
You can get a plain edge. Okay.
Yeah. So they say, somebody asked here. Ben's Knives says, "What's steel on the Atlas?" Civivi Knife says Nitro V blade for prototypes. So they're still being non-specific. It's like, these are Nitro V, but who the hell knows what they're going to be?
We want to do Nitro V, but time will tell. So,
yeah.
Can we get enough at the right price?
Yeah, that's always a question, I suppose.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome if they started using that in some of their folders. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize the coated one had extra milling done to the handle. Like, a lot of extra milling done to the handle. Like, if you look here, just flat slabs of G10 on the plain with the satin, and then the black coated blades have, like, all this extra texturing put into them.
Oh, yeah. They're tiger striping them.
Yeah. Also, the black blades are more harpoony. Like, they have kind of a sub-clip thing going on.
Yeah, it reminds me of like a Trailmate or a like SRK or a SOG even type of clip.
Little bit.
Seal something.
Yeah.
Next knife. Unless you got more to say.
Yeah, no, I didn't really give this hard roast the time of day, but it's a good looking knife. Simple little thumb stud opening, Warncliffey.
Oh, hold on a second. Sorry, the Instagram page I linked to wasn't just for the Altus. The Cogent is actually a separate model. Okay.
It's two different models.
I thought they were like the same because the profiles were so similar. I was like, okay,
no, it's just they're kind of cousins. They came out with them at the same time.
Right.
I was going to ask a question. I'm just not going to ask that question.
Please don't.
Okay. The black coated is more tactical. That's why they offered it in the half serrated as well. They are getting ultimate tactical. What did you say, Paul?
It's tactically black.
Sure is.
Is it black or is it a slightly darker black?
It's Vanta black.
There you go.
It just disappears here.
Don't drop it at night.
It's the ultimate stealth knife. It's
It's so stealthy you'll frickin' lose it.
It whispers.
Yeah.
So the Hadros would be like I said, for that one, it's like they took the little fixed blade kitchen knife that they tried to make last year that they improved upon and turned it into a folder.
It's kind of got a vulture-y looking thing going on. I like the blade. The handle's okay. I like the blade shape.
That handle looks like it's probably going to be a little bit too skinny.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to be.
And I like skinny handles, but for that blade shape, I don't know. I feel like you would want something a little. Then again, the inside curve of that handle might make up for it. I don't know.
Anyway, skim over that one. The Synergy 3, I didn't even really look at this one, but it's got some sort of
Persian-y madness going on.
With a ripple effect, yeah.
Oh.
Like the CRKT ripple effect? No.
No.
I was thinking of a different thing.
They did
not
it with...
the wrinkle, the ripple. And not the
button.
Ripple either, because that's also a CRKT knife. But,
Damascus and carbon fiber with that ripple effect, it's trippy. It's weird.
I do like the
Tonto.
That is a busy knife. Jesus Christ.
Too busy for me, I think.
But Chris Reeves does is it called the sonar pattern?
Like that acoustic kind of wave sort of.
Oh, I'm trying to remember the word for it.
That's what this reminds me of.
With all the concentric circles. Yeah.
Doppler effect.
Yeah.
I knew it would come to me. I know things sometimes.
Sometimes.
I know.
Sometimes.
I do.
Yeah.
I do like it better with a plain blade.
Yeah, without the Tonto.
Yeah.
Tonto up sweat blades are always a little iffy for me. But then again, it's full Damascus, so whatever.
He's talking shit about your Rhino, Dennis.
Who's talking crap about
I said
Rhino?
usually, and he knows I like that knife. He knows I'm a little envious.
I was distracted by the next knife. So
do you want to talk about that next knife?
I do want to talk about that next knife.
It's kind of a cool thing, isn't it? Yeah. You know what? I'm going to throw the pictures that you gave up.
I hate, and even if you click on their link to Instagram, I hate the fact that I'm going to buy one of these sons of bitches.
I'm going to own the purple one.
Same.
I am not going to own the purple one.
Coward. So there's a size comparison for you. What boring ass version are you going with? Are you going to wait till they do gray handle scales just so you can go even more boring than usual?
No, the satin with the blue is fine. That's
really
just fine.
You're choosing for blue. Oh wow!
Other than black studs.
Oh, here I thought you were talking about the
blade with the blue studs. It's the only satin bladed option.
I thought maybe there was a satin blade option with blue, and I just missed it somehow. But no,
the purple and black looks really nice together, though.
With the slightly gold-ish offset on the stud. Yeah, it's kind of nice. I like it.
Okay, so I love Dick Richards' comment. Do you have to give your money back if the knife causes seizures? According to the last one that had the Doppler effect plus the Damasteel blade. Like, seriously, that needs the Nintendo Wii warning on the
Yeah.
front of the box before you open it. You're going to have Homer Simpson in Japan twitching. Like, it's seriously.
Yeah, it's a bit much.
Oh,
I don't know.
My goodness, that's
So-
fantastic. Yeah.
Like I know there's been knives where Paul and I have both looked at, and at the same time, I'm like, wow, that's busy, and like just completely different tones of voice. Where like Paul's kind of excited by it, and I'm just like, too much. Like I like the artistry that goes into it, but as far as like just looking at it for too long, it's like
Okay.
it's giving me a headache.
That's usually the thing. Look, if you look at my collection, there's not a lot of particularly crazy colored stuff yet.
Okay, we got to get back on the mini banter. Who the hell asked for this knife?
Ben?
Like, seriously. Like,
Yeah, Ben asked for a small, pocketable, very lightweight, tiny carry knife, and they came out with the banter, and he's like, do it again, but smaller.
do it again.
I said small, god damn it.
So
yeah, if we had Nigel editing right now, I would get Marshall with the bullwhip pretending to be Indiana Jones going, not good enough. It's, yeah.
yeah, pretty much.
Seriously, like,
But the guys
I
that
don't know anyone that was like, hey, can you make it dragonfly sized? That'd be cool. Like,
And frame locks, honestly,
It's
frame locks.
cooler.
Frame locks at this size weird me out. They have to be done really well for me to like them. I don't know.
It's a weird sentence you just said.
okay, but here's the thing: is if you go to the Instagram page and you click over to the fourth picture, it's G10 on the backside. It looks like a liner lock, just like the original one was.
Oh, is it? Oh,
'Cause the original one was a liner
missed
lock.
that here. Oh, okay.
It's Joe's first time.
It's okay. It's okay. We'll recruit next week.
Shut up.
Well, the good news is when we get a new host, then Paul won't be invited either, and it'll just be the new guy and me. Apparently, like it's so
Fantastic.
You have to call it
Fantastic.
the new guy and me.
The new guy and me. All right.
That's small.
It's very little, but that's
Okay.
I like
The
that
thing
forward
I-
finger choil though.
The thing I like about it is the fact it is like this little dragonfly sized pocket watch, blah 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 type of thing in Nitro V. So I get
Yeah.
to play with a very cost effective version of Nitro V just to see how I like it.
That's the thing I'm most excited about is getting to play with that steel. And
When in doubt.
do we have any idea on the price points for these yet?
I do not.
I mean, it's
I'm
Civivi
gonna-
and it's a tiny knife, so it can't be more than like $60 for this model, right?
Oh, I think they're going to put a premium because you're dropping from a Wii knife brand banter to a Civivi equivalent. It's like some of the Elijah Isham stuff. You're still going to be
Oh.
looking at $80, $90, $100 price point, maybe type of, and especially with the Nitro V, it's really going to be interesting to see how Civivi prices their Nitro V, being kind of one
Yeah.
of the first people to break into those steels. I want one of those Puko son of a bitches too. Now that we're talking about stuff, right? But yeah.
I think I'd rather go with the Puko over this, but not by much, really.
Well, I will get this, and you'll get the Puko, and we'll just depending on how it goes. We shouldn't call it the Puko because it's just the name I
It's
gave
the
it. I
Lumi.
don't even-
It's the Lumi.
Anyway, that's Scandinavian sounding. It's good enough.
I like them both in that small size, but for completely different reasons.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
happier that this is a liner lock rather than a frame lock. I think I agree with Joe, but also because of the mismatched scales. Like there's the Pillar 2s and the Cryos and the whatever else is out there. I think it just kind of throws me a little bit.
Yeah.
I like full TI versions of things when you're doing frame locks, right?
Yeah.
So,
Mr. Fisk is saying in chat that people were asking for a larger banter, and
Which
that's
just-
for next year.
well,
And it completely goes against Ben's original ethos, so it doesn't surprise me that he's like, people want it bigger? Fuck them. We're going to give them a smaller version instead.
well, and I know that Zach during the Blade HQ, he talked about it being very similar to a mini H&K, but fatter. So to
Yeah.
think about this new Mini Banter being smaller than a Mini H&K that's a hell of a wee knife type of.
So it's like
It's not a wee
ZT
knife. It's a Civivi. I'm sorry.
What was that, Paul?
It's a ZT 0022.
Is it that small? It looks a little bit bigger.
It feels like this size, but in opposite proportions.
I think it's going to be dragonfly sized.
Yeah.
Well, looking at this photo, the size comparison in hand, isn't that basically a native? Assuming this is also
but that's
a large.
Ben's hands, and you've seen like he's got skinnier hands than I do. Seriously.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Anyway, this might be what I'm most excited about. There's some Böker stuff that kind of wows me, but Nitro V in a little pocket size just to test out that steel, I'm kind of excited about.
Yeah.
And I hate the fact that I am, because this knife never needed to happen. But
hey, man, you don't know. Maybe Ben needs to buy a new house.
And I 100% agree with Fisk. The Mini H&K is far superior than a Banter, for sure.
Make it a Nitro V.
Hashtag bring it back.
In Nitro V?
No, Benchmade doesn't do Nitro V. Put M4 on it. Then it'd be a tiny tank to the extreme. Some crew wear.
Yeah, because there's no kill like overkill. Yeah, shit.
I mean, if you're gonna kill,
it's don't kill a little bit. Anyway, I don't have pictures of them, but the other thing we could talk about before we wrap it up is Artisan.
Oh yeah, Artisan.
And I want to rag on one knife because they made a full TI version of one of my least favorite knives.
Does Artisan have photos up on their Instagram, or where can I go for?
Artisan Cutlery has 2 photos of some of the new stuff. That's all they have is just 2 of the knives.
Whoa! Why is it all zoomed in and weird? What the? That is a weird banner. I thought it was because of something on my end, but it is not.
So the full TI version of the Arion. I dislike this knife. I don't know. I think I dislike how much hype they want to give this knife. The one on the very top.
Oh, as it said.
The full TI version.
Ah, I see. Yes.
They had a burgundy micarta.
There it is.
Holy cow, and the price point, Jimmy.
Yeah, $266.66. Weird price, but yeah, it's up there. Okay, so when's the bubble on S35 gonna pop? Because we see it in price points anywhere from like 120 to $400.
Artisan is kind of a competitor for Kaiser. Kaiser is got $50 on these boys with their plain TI.
I don't agree with that either. That's kind of.
Rook does TI and S35 for $200 as well.
For one knife.
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
the price point. Titanium's expensive. I get it, but I don't know. Just with how inexpensive we can seem to find S35 for, it's.
And yeah, I can't remember what the knife is called, but yeah, Fisk, it does remind me of the Leon Maw quite a bit. Not the Lanny, one of the other ones. I can't remember what it's called. Anyway,
so
and the other one. Okay, so the main reason I have it is when the Burgundy one came out at the beginning of the year, the Burgundy micarta, they hyped it up like it was just this phenomenal. No one's ever seen anything like this, and they're talking about how your thumb slides in the groove as you're opening it up, rather than being like solid like a thumb stud or a thumb hole or something. And every time you watch him open this knife, he Spidey flicks it because apparently opening it with the groove of the. So even in the last 6 months since this full TI version has come out, his marketing scheme in January is completely different than watching you spider flick it open in June.
Remember what a failure, for lack of a better term, the what was that lock called? The recoil lock? Yeah. Basically an access lock that was installed incorrectly, and there were multiple times where they failed to open the knife or close it because of where the lock is positioned. Like, I'm not surprised that they tried to jazz up a hole in the blade and failed at that as well, which is disappointing.
And
Look, they're
then,
the first to do it. Let them have it, okay?
and then the other thing on Artisan's webpage, there's no difference in price point on full TI compared to micarta and TI.
This is why I'm kind of wondering, like, when does this
It's
pricing bubble?
266.66, regardless of the variation you want.
Yep. 50%
I'm
more
hoping that
titanium?
it's an inflated MSRP so that when it comes to market, it's at a lower price.
Well,
Please do things like that.
here's hoping. I mean, like, it's one thing to justify from other makers because, oh, they're in the States, so you got to pay for American labor. Like with ZT, it's like, okay, I get it. I'm paying for a company to employ American workers. I get it.
They were reinventing the whole. They were stealing it from Marzatelli in the early 90s, and they're going to put it on their own shit. And Marzatelli was stealing it from someone else. I just don't know who.
Specifically, that, like, the slot through the blade?
The groove, that was kind of an opening mechanism. But I think Marzatelli's was just a blood groove, basically, or fuller, that he turned into an opening hole. I don't think it was a hole all the way through.
It was probably because Spyderco would go after him for it.
Yeah. So the other one that CJRB or Artisan Cutlery or whatever put up, they did a Laconico with a spear point, which I unfortunately don't have pictures of, and I can't find pictures of it, but it's actually a good looking blade.
In conjunction with Laconico?
Yeah, it's a new Laconico design. It's kind of based off the same handle that the Centauri is, but it's more spear pointy and classier. They kept on repeating the term clean, like it, because they had the titanium handled Arion and whatever, right? But
I mean,
this Scoria is the other one from Artisan.
I do appreciate the fact that the Tigris is still coming out in running shoe colors from the early 90s.
Of course it is, yeah. And then, yeah, second row, the Scoria is also, it says prototype because, yeah, this was the other one. And he raved about how slim and lightweight and, like, full, like, sized knife, but slim in the hand, slim in the pocket, super, super lightweight. And it's still like a 2.2 or a 2.4 ounce or something like that type of, like,
don't get me wrong, that's pretty lightweight for a folding knife, but when you're dealing with when the competition is making things like bug outs, yeah.
And
that's what I would say.
Yeah, your whole like selling feature is just how innovative and like lightweight this knife is. I'm like, is it?
Am I missing it, or do they just not tell you the weight?
No, they're avoiding that conversation for right now.
Oof. You were going to call them out on it.
Big oof. Well, I was just going to check and see, like, what exactly are they saying it is, but in both versions here, they're not saying anything. That's all right. Okay.
Even in the CF version, they're like, no.
Yeah.
We haven't got it on lockdown yet, so.
Who knows? Maybe they're going to skeletonize everything.
Well, and they had prototypes there that they were playing with.
Like a scorned lover.
What's that?
Mr. Fisk is right. Dennis is sounding a little bit like a scorned lover as far as Artisan is going.
Well, you know, stop claiming things that aren't true.
No.
That's all I'm saying.
It wasn't the Centauri we're talking about. It was another one, right?
It's a Laconico design that has a very similar handle, but it's much more spear pointy.
Oh, okay.
And it was my favorite out of the all. I should have grabbed a screenshot of it, but I was too hyped up on the Böker stuff to, yeah.
It bothers me that we can see those, the trainers that were there at the bottom of that screen, the trainer / auto /
Oh, yeah. I still kind of want one of those just for the novelty, but not for the prices they're asking.
But yes, but no, but also yes.
So, I don't know. Artisan's been very hit and miss. Their fixed blade, they revamped, and it's not even on Artisan's page right now because they've revamped it so much. But
there's a sea snake, though, so that counts for something.
Yeah, but it was the other larger one. And they're still trying to push it like it's some sort of camping, hiking, blah, blah, blah. But they're slowly turning it into a 5.5-inch petty knife. And they just don't want to admit it.
The mismarketing in this company is just incredible sometimes.
They're off their rocker a little bit. Like
Uh,
some of the designs are cool. But
I
they're all-
find they struggle to be able to define their knives more than anything else.
Yeah, I think that's...
I think if they were to just be
Yeah.
like, hey, it's got this and this and this, sits flat and palm, sits blah, blah, blah. But I think the overhyping actually ends up being more harm
they
than
want the
good.
name to be deep and meaningful instead of it's like, dude, it's just a tattoo. You can go and get it. It's not a big deal. They don't all have to have super important meaning.
I gotta say, Fisk, thanks for joining us, man. Always fun with you, for sure.
Thanks for showing up.
Yeah. We'll catch you next week. I think that's about it for me on the Blade Show. I think that's about it for our show too. MKM, if we want to talk about them, but me.
I was very underwhelmed by their showing, to be honest. So, I mean, we could take a very quick look, but
They came out with an aluminum handled Slippy. That was Warncliffe. That's probably going to be way too much money because it's MKM.
the edge of all the things you shouldn't be calling a knife, especially if you make multiple knives, calling one of them the edge just sounds odd. It's like, so the other ones don't have edges?
No,
it's fine.
He's a WWE wrestler. That's all.
Makes me like this even less.
It should. It should make you like it even less, and that's setting the bar some sort of place.
Controversial statement. This knife is too modern, in my mind, to be a slip joint.
And see, that was the whole point, apparently, in how they designed it. They wanted it to be a modern slip joint.
Ultimate modern traditional is actually that's actually how they
That's what they
talked
phrased
about
it?
it in the video. Well, that's
Brutal.
basically the gist of what they wanted, the ultimate modern traditional.
And I'm not saying that they weren't going for that thing. I'm just saying I don't like that thing.
That big tank of a knife that we has, that's the slip joint, will beat modern traditional compared to this thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it right now. MKM doesn't impress me in the goddamn slightest. I don't know. Their knives might be nice quality and blah blah blah, but the aesthetics and what they have to bring to the table.
The things that
every time I see one, I'm like, meh, it's all right.
The thing that excites me about MKM is seeing them do collabs with other companies and making knives for other people out there. You know what I mean? The way that like Spyderco and Lion Steel will work together and stuff like that. Like I imagine because they do good quality stuff, if they get injected with some better design, it'll come across really nice.
Yeah, for sure. They have potential to be coming out with some really, really nice stuff. But every time, like even the fixed blades, and I know Nigel was all about the fixed blades, but and like similarities to Böker Gnome, and I'm like, yeah, if you steampunk to Böker Gnome, but I don't want a steampunk Böker Gnome. I just want a Böker Gnome. Like,
you like the flame too. God damn it, Joe White. Why do
I gotta bring that thing up? Because it's a cool knife.
And if they're traditionals, like with Swiss Army knives with the M390 and stuff like that, if they were it's hard to say slightly better price point because they are not a terrible price point, but
yeah.
And this, why don't you just buy an angst? Because you both want an angst. Like seriously,
this is
why even looking at this thing when I
this
just
has
show
a
you an
longer,
angst and you're gonna be like, yeah, you're right, I want that more.
Well, I was gonna say that, but this one has a longer blade, but it doesn't. The angst actually has a bit of a longer blade than this one.
See what I mean? You just want an angst. Why don't you buy an angst and you stop looking at this thing because it's just slightly not an angst?
Because it's not available to me yet.
Yeah, it's damn close to being available to you.
Yep.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I think this pretty much rounds up Blade Show 2021. I think we covered a gambit.
I think so.
Buck came out with an S35 flipper.
Yeah, and it's the most vanilla looking thing that I've seen in a long time. But they're doing it. So better now than never, I guess.
And I think it's S45, not S35. I said 35.
I think
it's actually 45.
I think you're correct.
Cool on those guys, but it still looks like a Osborne Proxy and Hinderer Cryo had a baby. So
That doesn't turn me off of the knife. In fact, it's not. It's pretty plain.
In fact,
I've always talked about how the Proxy kind of looks like it had a stroke, so I don't want a strokey baby. Like it's.
Oh.
and now I'm set.
Yep.
We just went from 14 to 12 viewers with that comment, by the way.
Yep.
Fisk was one of them, so it's yeah.
I was hoping I could find a picture of that flipper frame lock, but no, not yet.
No, it's too new.
There's the knife right. No, that's not it. It looks like that one a little bit, but never mind.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I think that covers our gambit for Blade Show. They might come up with some last minute stuff tonight that we haven't seen, but I doubt it.
Could be.
Yeah. Rounding out, what was in the comments? We might as well round this out a little bit. In the comments, what was everyone's favorites that they saw tonight? Everyone here, what was your favorite that you saw tonight? One answer, Joe. I'm talking to you, you son of a bitch. What was your favorite?
My favorite thing out of all of the things we looked at, it's probably going to be that ice pick. Out of all the, okay, I should say of all the things that I'm most likely to buy, that's the one. That's the one. I still like VG10. What can I say?
I'm gonna go Lundquist with that. What is is it the Lumi?
It's the Lumi.
Lumi,
yeah.
Civivi.
That'd be.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
That would be my second choice, but Dennis won't let me have a second choice.
He got one anyways. You notice that?
Can I pick one of the 10 MagnaCut cements? No.
Yeah, Mr. Fisk is gone. You can say it now.
Yeah, I got to admit, I fucking hate to say it, the Mini Banter. I hate it. I hate it so much. I loathe myself that's my favorite thing.
Yeah, you
Nitro
should.
V in this small little package, and I don't mind the blade shape. It's boring enough to be right up my alley. God damn it! Like so, I don't know.
Gotcha.
I'd have second picks too, but I said one. So.
Is the second pick one of those case knives?
Oh.
If
That doesn't know.
I'm gonna double down on the Nesme Pro from Böker because
Okay.
I still want one of those little bitches. Yeah.
Same.
Yeah, and I don't know, Ben. It's one of those. I think I hate it because of the height behind the bend thing, and it was supposed to be a small knife, and then they made it smaller, and I was just like, oh god damn it! Like, why even go there? Like,
just wait until next year when they make it even smaller.
It's like the Indela of Wii knives. It's
Who asked for this? but you know it'll sell well. Like.
And the ice pick dagger is Dick Richards' choice. Again, it's cool. There's a reason I took pictures of it is because I'm curious about the price because I bet you it's going to be quaking expensive and that blows.
Yeah,
$160 to $200. Yeah,
But that knife just tickles. It tickles my fancy in just the right way, even if it is like 200 bones to pick up.
His fancy.
Yeah.
I'll probably own one.
And I also, last note before we head out here, 2022 preview from CRKT. What kind of greasy bullshit is that? Like, seriously.
It's them just flexing on everyone else. SHOT Show only happens because we fucking sponsor it now. So you can...
No, it's a slap in Spyderco's face. He's like, at least we'll say it.
Instead of announcing product that was going to come out for the end of this year, they gave themselves extra time by announcing product that's coming out at the beginning of next year.
Yeah. And when those come out, then they can be the SHOT Show 2022 releases, and they can double down on those. They got a good strategy going right now. And maybe have one or two back in the background.
Spyderco's been doing it the entire time. Why can't they?
Yeah.
Well, okay, so Benchmade's also done that, where they've released stuff at Blade Show and then called them new for the following year. So
that's pretty greasy, too.
Yeah, I'm just saying it happens. It happens. So,
Yeah.
but I don't think it should happen on something that you announced at the SHOT Show and then like the Nesme Pro from Böker, where they announced it at the SHOT Show and then they're going to double down at the Blade Show. If they double down in 2022, you're like, all right, you smock making sons of bitches, get your shit together. Like,
So they're not. It's not two different versions they're making of the Nessie.
I think I don't know. Yes, I think it is. I think
Okay.
they've got the original burgundy with the normal tubes, and now they've got this new black and kind of white coffee bags micarta with a copper tubing and like a black. Yeah, I can see if I can find it.
Whatever you say, coffee bag.
Very similar to the Pembleton 3V black coating, where it's kind of like not
Like
DLC,
a-
not Cerakote, just kind of like shimmery kind of coat. That's what it had on it.
Like a deep blue.
And then no steel markings. You watch very closely, and it says Vox on one side, it says Böker Plus on the other, and there's nowhere that says steel on it.
That's assuming it's made of steel.
Well, the other one's D2.
Maybe it's ceramic.
Paul, I swear
Maybe
to God,
it's Maybe it's MIM. They
There you
got
go.
Ken Onion in the background designing
Taking-
knives.
both of you taking years off my life here.
Can you make a Nesmuck with a recurve?
You probably can, but you probably shouldn't.
I'm sure there's some sort of justifiable application for that bullshit. Anyway.
Hey man, just add modified to the beginning of the sentence.
All right, let's close this fucking article up, eh? We're done for tonight. Yeah, check us out on YouTube. Like, subscribe, share the videos, guys. They're hit and miss on the Sundays. We're having fun on them, and we wish more people would join us live because that's half the fun for sure. So,
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also Patreon, we really appreciate anyone who is donating to us. We're going to try to get some more knife reviews out. Knives have not been coming in great this year for 2021. I got to be honest with you. It's a slow roll. Not
A huge amount of stuff to review.
When we do get new models, we'll check them out, but we're not able to go to Blade Show and check those out. So this is what we get apparently for now. So yeah, Paul, Instagram, do those things.
What he said. Instagram. Do those things. Follow us. God damn it. Do it.
No, I was talking about posting because I can't remember the last time you posted. No, I'm just kidding.
Oof.
Yeah. We're going to end the show with a Paul hate trade.
Apparently, it's come full circle.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think that about rounds us out here, guys. So, having said that, I am who I am. Thanks for joining us. I'm Dennis Vipers.
Hi, I'm the Iron Joe.
XL.ca.
Thanks again for joining us, guys. Take care.
Oh, I can't wait not to buy a case flipper.
Can't wait to overextend that aluminum lock bar.
How many lock bars get broken, do you think?
2.